Leicester City this season have been miserable from top to bottom. The mismanagement and decision making from the top has been ludicrous. The recruitment has been dreadful. But with that comes an anomaly. Perhaps the only shining light on football way this season, and his name is Bilal El Khannouss. The 20-year-old technician has been the Fox's best player by an absolute landslide. He is far too good to be playing Championship football next season and contains an unknown release clause to his head too. Leipzig are linked, Lazio too, but Arsenal will be the club I focus on today in relation to the Moroccan services. This video discusses the type of player that he is, his finest strengths, tactically what he offers to a side, but mostly what he would offer to Mikel Arteta's Gunners. Let's go. Now many people react to this and think, why on earth would Arsenal, a title challenging side, sign a relegated player? Well, I'll get into that, but you can't judge a talented player so harshly in a poor environment, especially when he's performed and kept his head up all season. Andy Robertson made the move to Liverpool when he was relegated, as did Gini Wijnaldum, and they turned out pretty well. But let's shift on to the main man. Statistically, he's really held his own in a very poor side. His goals and assists aren't flattering to look at, but he doesn't exactly shoot a lot. He averages 1.07 shots per 90, 1.26 touches in the opponent's box per 92. He's not exactly the player to take more authority in attacking phases, but he's more of a creator, a playmaker. He's more selfless. As a player profile, he's a mix between a number 10/8. For Leicester, he's been utilised as a 10 mostly all season, featuring in a common 3-2-5 shape a lot, but you can also find him on the left hand side, drifting in, as he loves manipulating the ball with his body and right foot bias. Firstly, I want to discuss him on the ball before off the ball, because there's a lot to talk about both. El Khannouss shares a great deal of excellence with the ball at his feet at such a young age. He's silky, he's technical, slick and smart in this department. Ahead of receiving the ball in space, his sense of awareness to his surroundings is absolutely top. One of his season highlights is his goal at Spurs. The finish is neat and tucked away nicely, but even before he receives the ball, he scans the space in and around him multiple times. It allows him to gather the teammates around him, where they are, who he could pass to, and the opponents that are close by, leading him to understand the amount of touches he can take running towards goal before challenged. He sets himself up here very simply but very effectively. When he's receiving the pass, his control of the football is absolutely absurd. His body opening to the pass is there, but even if he isn't, he contains that quick and nifty agile use of turn, meaning he can adjust very quickly if need be. Normally, he shifts his body to the side, and then from there, the ball is glued to his boots. If the ball's coming towards him overhit with real pace and power, he controls it. If the ball's coming his way in the air, he controls it and brings it down. If the ball is underhit and brings him into trouble, then he can control it too, with his expertise of dealing in tight spaces. He ideally wants the ball to be struck along the turf into his feet, but he can adapt to whatever way possible. As you can probably see by now, his quick feet and close ball control is simply off the charts. You can tell he's put in a lot of practice on his footwork and dribbling, because there's no other explanation at just 20 years old. He's obviously very talented, but his footwork looks a really high level at such a young age. After that, he gets the ball out of his feet ready to move instantly. El Khannouss really excels in that retention of the ball, but he's the type of player that when you watch him, he retains the ball for longer than he should. Now, I don't mean that in terms of decision making or just keeping the ball too long, but I mean that as he glides by quite a few challengers in congested spaces where it looks like he should lose the ball. There's a lot of moments where he looks like he's about to lose it, then somehow manages to maintain possession. It's a joy to watch. The ball carrying and intention to go directly forwards is what you'll see most of the time, but he's not stupid. If he needs to cut back or swiftly change direction, he will to keep his team the ball. When facing those challenges 1v1, he's so tricky to defend. You're talking about someone who has unbelievable quick feet, a very agile turn, meaning he can twist and turn around you, someone who combines well with short passes with players around him, someone who can pick out a good pass, basically someone with a bit of everything technically on the ball. The only thing he doesn't have to throw at you is physicality, but even then, that makes it easier for him to buy fouls and go down. His ability to shift any direction and change the angle of a pass is absolutely fantastic, and is highly useful for accessing different attackers. In the half spaces, he could be facing the direction of the striker, but twists and manage to find a wider player like the winger. He's that good. Defenders essentially have to be fast or overly aggressive to stop him. But with those quick feet come quick passing and very quick thinking. He's not exactly a speedster in his sprinting, but he is a speedster in terms of what he actually does with the football. Once he's got the ball in a good position, he doesn't take too long with it. He distributes the ball to the flanks very coolly with a lifted ball, but if there's a forward run beyond the defensive line, he is excellent at finding him, just like the pass against West Ham. He can execute his intentions with the ball so fast, but the passes aren't rushed to any sense. They're so precise, with the right amount of weight, the right amount of height, precision and accuracy. And something else that's quite noticeable about him is how well disguised they are. He doesn't make it overly obvious in his execution that he's making that pass. It's not a huge swing of the leg or a big jump to his step. It's genuinely very well hidden and ultimately gives him all the tools to break down a low block, which Arsenal could do with. When he finds himself in a position to cross too, it's usually brilliant and very testing. You can see this set piece against Brighton, it's hit with a tremendous amount of curve, making it quite easy for Caleb Okoli to hit home. But it's perfectly steered away from Verbruggen to come and claim, but right into the path of his teammate to the back post. To summarise his contribution on the ball though, his consistency in the final third in goal scoring isn't quite there. He can do it, but he's very young. And there's been plenty of moments where he's actually been very unfortunate this season. And as I mentioned earlier, he's more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. Moving on to off the ball, and there is so much more to talk about than you think if you are unfamiliar with Bilal El Khannouss. The Moroccan is incredibly hard working off the ball. He engages in high pressing for his team, he's not afraid to dive into a slide tackle, yet isn't reckless, he's a very decent ball winner and covers lots of ground when the opposing team has it. As we know, he's very aware, so the man that he's marking or the space he's in, he really takes note of that and he acknowledges the space very well. He can follow a man and defend deep in wider spaces, but also sit in a 4-4-2 shape, just like Mikel Arteta. It's fair to say he's very proactive, but also when his team has the ball, he has the ability to be everywhere, to drift into different spaces, to come deep, to bring that ball forwards, which sounds a lot like the role of Martin Odegaard in that Arsenal side. So let's combine Arsenal into this chat. Arsenal, as we know, line up in a 4-3-3, with those two number 8s pushing high, attacking those half spaces. Whilst recently, we've seen Mars Lewis Skelly directly invert into midfield in a pivot with Partey or Declan Rice. Arteta's side plays with a lot of fluidity, a lot of rotations, intricate passing, wide threats, and I think Bilal fits directly into this team. Some may watch this and think, with Bilal El Khannouss's relatively less physical size, how is he any different to Fabio Vieira? Well, to put that simply, Bilal El Khannouss is faster. That is the big difference to me. But the Moroccan slides right into that 8 role and would be a quality alternative / backup for Martin Odegaard. He'd be utilised best in the left 8 role of the midfield, but he could play on the right too. He's comfortable on both feet, giving Arteta tactical flexibility in how to unleash him. With his clear excellence on twisting and turning beyond the opponents and shifting the angle of a pass, it makes rotations for Arsenal in these spaces even more easy and even more fluid. It wouldn't matter at times where he'd be because he'd excel wherever he is. But on that left, closer to Martinelli, would be dangerous. Martinelli's runs on the inside of the fullback would be accessed very commonly, and within games where Arsenal are facing a low block, 10 men behind the ball, El Khannouss's ability to combine in short spaces would single-handedly break down a team and find a way through. Against low blocks, we do usually see Arsenal use set pieces to break teams down, and once again this is another match in style and philosophy with the 20-year-old's crossing capabilities. I can already see an El Khannouss cross finding Mikel Moreno or Gabriel Magalhaes with a lovely weight of cross, but the truth is there are so many attacking bonuses with this man at the Gunners, and his technical ability alone warrants the move. But one of the reasons Arteta loves Odegaard so much is his work off the ball. Off the ball, he's probably one of their most important players with Declan Rice. So Arsenal fans that discuss a replacement or backup for Martin Odegaard need to keep this in mind. But that is another reason as to why Bilal El Khannouss would be absolutely perfect for Arsenal's side. At just 20 years of age, there is so much to his game that's already excellent, but imagine that elevated through more experience at the top level and more guidance and coaching via the hands of Mikel Arteta and his team. I really do believe that Mikel Arteta takes Bilal El Khannouss and himself to the top. Thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash a like and subscribe. What do you think of Bilal El Khannouss and his next step in his career? Which club should he move to? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.